Welcome to Kenchong TV, your source of information on culture, history, society, family, and education. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe now. Click also the notification bell to be updated of more videos. And don't forget to like, share, and comment down below.
Good day po! I am Alison Adalem from Code 3033. As I have reflected in the past few days about the Rizal Course, I came into realization about so many things. But before I elaborate those realizations, I just want to share the start of my journey with Rizal. At first, I really didn't expect that I would be taking this course again in college since it is one of our subjects way back in junior high school. But as our online class started, I was mesmerized about the course's outline. I encountered several unfamiliar topics, contexts, and even happenings in the past relating to Rizal that made this course very interesting to me. On the other hand, there were many highlights we digested in every chapter of this course. In Chapter 1, our professor discussed about the Rizal Law, a background of Rizal's hagiography, the relationship of literature and society, and some hazards of translation regarding on Rizal's novels. Honestly, I didn't know that there was a bill that relates to Rizal, and there was even a debate about it before it was constituted as a law. Moreover, in this chapter, I perceived about the significant relationship about literature and society. They are indeed inseparable in nature because for me, literature is one of the most influential tools that can establish a better society. It can also help in bringing change for the future generations because literature mirrors the lives, experiences, and events of people in a certain context, may it be good or bad. While in Chapter 2, we also discussed about nationalism. In my preference, this is my favorite topic among others because this chapter made me conscious about how should I embrace and develop Filipino nationalism within me. With the aid of Rizal's characteristic, which is being valor despite struggles, I came into recognition of my own loyalty and sense of national consciousness that I believe can contribute in having a unified community together with the citizens of this country and for the attainment of nation building. For Chapter 3, Socio-Cultural, economic, and political issues were presented in the time of Rizal. These aspects brought us mass changes in our daily lives today and took over internal developments in Philippine society. But, as I have observed in today's context, the issues mentioned is still present. For example, is politicians embodying graft and corruption or them abusing their authoritative power. Next, in Chapter 4, the Noli Metangare and the propaganda agenda of Rizal was introduced. I learned that Rizal is not the only one, obviously, who made a remarkable step in achieving freedom for our country. Behind of this propaganda are the people who assisted Rizal for recovering our rights from the Spaniards like Graciano Lopez Jaina, Andres Bonifacio, and etc. In my perspective, we should not just be grateful for Rizal, but also to those who invested their dauntlessness in attaining our nation's liberty. And lastly, in Chapter 5, we dug our understanding deeper about how Rizal proposed moral reforms in his literary works such as The Philippines, A Century Home, that tackles about how Rizal foresees the Philippines after a century. Even though the Spaniards gave us a hard time attaining our liberty from them, we should also be thankful because they are the ones who made us stronger and courageous than before. We have learned to fight for our rights and for our dignity as Filipinos. So to sum it up, the Rizal course aided me to know about the disastrous past of our country that, on the other hand, brought a wonderful amendment of our society today. I believe that Rizal and his companions indeed have an enormous contribution for achieving our freedom. This course also taught me how to love and always look back from where I came from because my roots served as my foundation of who am I today and in the future too. Just like Rizal, who did not forget about his origin, he influenced others to bring metanoia not just for themselves, but for all. And lastly, I learned in taking this course about being fearless in achieving one's goals despite adversities. In my own context, I want to be a successful CPA lawyer someday. But before I make those dreams of mine come true, I would be encountering numerous hurdles along the way, such as difficulty in studying. And again, just like Rizal, I shouldn't be scared of those obstacles, but rather, I should turn those as motivation and a stepping stone in attaining my goals.
Welcome to Kenchong TV, your source of information on culture, history, society, family, and education. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe now. Click also the notification bell to be updated of more videos. And don't forget to like, share, and comment down below.
On the chapter 3 of Rizal, one of the topics that caught my attention was the story of Moth. The story tells about a tremendous task that could only be carried out if one has to make a great sacrifice. Taking risk is another lesson in this story, but the risk must be geared towards moral action. The baby moth did not heed the advice of its mother, that is disrespect and impatience. However, the goal is more rewarding, and that the flame which may represent education, success, and freedom. The baby moth reflects an intense determination and an achievement of an end that is worth dying for. Relating to Rizal's life, Rizal did not listen to his mother's advice for the sake of his countrymen. Through education and his achievements, Rizal proved to our colonizers that we Filipinos are not mangmang and inferior in all aspects. With his intelligence and learnings, he aimed to educate the Filipinos through his writings. Among these writings are the El Filibusterismo and Noli Metangare, which major purpose is to enlighten the Filipinos on what is happening in the country. He wanted the people to fight for their country and have the total freedom from the inhumane manipulation of the Spaniards or the Spanish government. Rizal knew that attacking the Spanish government would mean death, but that never stops him to execute his purpose, because for him, the Filipino is worth dying for.
As a student, it is important to study the life, works, and writings of Rizal, for it will give us insights on how we started to fight for our freedom, speak and stand for our right. His values are worth emulating. The courage, determination, love, and selflessness are very admirable.
Under the supervision of our good teacher, Mr. Kenneth Maslang, all I can say is that I have learned a lot through our mode of learning. He is the reason behind all the new knowledge that I gained this mid-year. Because for the past 4 weeks, he did his part well, wherein he provided us video presentations, modules, and reminders in all our new lessons and activities. He keeps on reminding us that in studying Rizal, we should study it with all our hearts and be responsible enough in doing our task. Through his words of wisdom and encouragement, I have learned to love the Rizal Course.
I encourage the young generations to study Rizal's life, works, and writings, because each chapter provides lessons that will guide us towards the future. Nothing is impossible. Just learn and love the subject with all your heart, and everything will follow.